Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Benjamin Goose, and along here with Sage the Mark. I just wanted to start off this week's show with a quick tribute.
And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker.
And what is up, everybody? It's your boy Ben Goose, and along here with Sage the Mark. How you doing today, Sage?
What a do, Goose. Happy Thursday to you, my brother.
Yeah, happy Thursday to you too, my friend. Got a lot to get into this week. Show is popping. We're awfully close to hitting our first 1,000 Twitter subscribers.
Yeah, man. I think we're like what was that? 165?
Just under 200. Yeah, just under 200 away.
Yeah, there we go, man. Yeah, I've been plugging away, and good content going on, and people are sharing, and community's getting bigger, and yeah, man, I love it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I actually, I went to a what was it? A diaper party or something like that this weekend, and I met actually a new subscriber, new fan, this weekend. So let me tell you how this weekend went. This is when you know you're gonna have a good time. To everybody listening, do you ever have those times where you go to something and you think, is this really going to be that fun? If you're married, maybe you're not, maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. You go to a family event, you go to an event, maybe if you're single, you meet a girl and you go to her family's house, and you're walking around. And I went to this diaper party. Luckily, there were some friends of mine, so I knew I was going to have a good time. But I went to this diaper party, had a couple beers, sat there and thought, all right, are we going to talk about kids? We're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard. We're in San Antonio. Huge news lately. Been in the news left and right. What is this guy going to do? Hopefully we know in 24 hours. What are we going to talk about? And I'm sitting there and I'm talking. I'm chit-chatting. I'm meeting new people, eating pizza, having beers. And then you know what I hear? And I didn't text you about this, but I sit there and we start talking MMA, just typical guy talk, sports, whatever. And then I hear something along the lines of, well, yeah, I mean, that Gargano and Ciampa told one of the best stories ever told. You have no idea how I was like a dog. My ears puckered up in a heartbeat. And I walked over to these dudes and I was like, hey, excuse me. Did I just hear you talk about, what are y'all talking about? Oh, just, and us wrestling fans, we do wrestling stuff. No, tell me specifically what you're talking about. You're talking about NXT last week? And then I sat down and hung out with those dudes for 3 hours outside talking wrestling. How awesome
Nice.
One of them is one of our newest followers, by the way. What up, Silky Mel Johnson? Been busy. Sprint as me. Oh, shout outs to Silky Mel in the chat. Man, what up, Silky Mel? Damn right they do. They need to be working hard on them cell phone towers around San Antonio. I'll tell you that.
I hear you on that, man. That's a good feeling to have, man. I haven't gotten that experience yet, unfortunately, but I'm hoping that one day I will, man. I mean, I wear wrestling shirts all the time. I see people looking at me and they're like, they know what's up, and yeah, they don't want to have. I guess it might be the fro, man. Maybe the fro is a bit too intimidating for them, so they just kind of
Well, I've mentioned on the show before, I've worn my Bullet Club shirts out, and people, I've seen people in Bullet Club shirts and tried to throw up the sign, the click sign, the Wolfpack sign, and Dobby, who's a sometimes a part-time guest. We might try to get Dobby on the show next week because we have some pretty intense UFC predictions next week. Dobby told me he went to Disney World last week, and he said every single day out at Disney World, big family trip, he wore a wrestling shirt. And he said he actually got some comments, especially at the bar. People would yell out, "Oh, Bullet Club, too sweet," all this stuff. So, and I think he wore a New Day shirt. That's what got him the most comments. So
Nice.
it's a damn good feeling when you get some comments from wrestling fans. So, Soki Mel Johnson in the chat on the live version of the show, he asked, and in case none of you guys know, Hell in the Cell, the cell that will be in the hell will be held in San Antonio this year in September. Am I going to the show? Yes. I tried to get pre-sale tickets today, but it didn't work out. I'm definitely going to the show. Sage the Mark he may be going to the show. He has some previous engagements that may take him offline for a bit. But what we'll do is, no matter what, because if we're around, we're definitely going to go. We will have a IRWP, maybe like a party, get together. We'll do something. Maybe we'll meet. We'll probably have to meet at like 3:00 because the pre-show will probably start at 4:30. The real show is going to start at 6. So we'll have we got to come up. We got to come up with a name. We have a couple months to come up with a name of a meet and greet or something like that. Just something fun, something different. We just want to meet whatever listeners are in San Antonio. Just something fun.
Is it going to be at the SBC Center?
What do you think? Yeah, it's at the AT&T Center.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too because it's small. Yeah, man, that sounds good, man. I think they have that bar right around the corner there, man. That'd probably be a good spot to.
That's what it was. The Royal. I was trying to think of what show did I go to, and it was me and you at NXT, right? Is that where we sat front row, but on the upper level?
Yes, it was NXT. Because it was Saturday NXT, and then Sunday we went to go to the Royal Rumble.
Wait, I'm getting confused.
Yeah,
NXT was not, but NXT was at the Freeman Coliseum, right?
Yeah, so we went to the Freeman on Saturday, and we went to NXT. That's when you guys tried to leave me. Remember that?
Which time?
You bastards.
So,
I'm trying to get interviews and everything for everybody, and that's how y'all treat me. The wounds are still open, man. You put salt in, the wounds are still open, man.
For the listeners out there, what happened that day is Sage, he got your boy Ben Goosen, and I don't do the drinking and driving thing because I'd much rather have a good time and get an Uber. That day, a friend of mine was picking us all up, so we had plenty of time to have a good time. Actually, I took an Uber home that night. So I show up to the bar beforehand to have just a quick beer or two with Sage. Bruh. I sit there and Sage is like, we order a round. 2 minutes later, all right, man, I got second round. I'm like, God damn. Well, all right, well, I got to keep up because all of us are keeping it safe tonight. I got to keep up. Yeah, and I did it. Probably a job of keeping up. I think if I remember right, you finished those first 2 or 3 beers pretty quick. But then you were like, remember right? I think I ordered a round and you were like, nah, I'm good. But in my mind, I was like, nah, I'm not. And then we interviewed those dudes at the bar. Yep. Go back and listen to our show from since we're coming up on 2 years strong, from January 2017. I don't remember what episode it is, but we have specific commentary from people going to the Royal Rumble on that same show, as well as a live reaction to Roman Reigns being number 30 when all the fans thought it was Finn Balor.
Yeah, those were good times, man. So, but yeah, man, I do have a prior engagement during the week, but I might be able to swing it. Either way, what we'll probably do is I'll spring for a ticket. And if I don't end up going, then we'll just do some type of giveaway for our Patreon donors. So if you guys aren't on Patreon with us yet, y'all go check us out. www.irwp. Oh wait, that's the website. Well, you can do that too. www.irwp.us. Click on the little Patreon button, and then just go ahead and subscribe to our Patreon there. Become a Patreon, support your boys, and you'll be entered into that contest for that extra ticket. Right now, we got the contest going for the NXT War Games folding chair, which ends in about a month from now. So you still got some time. Still got some time to get in there, guys.
Whoa! I know you heard that, and that's what happens when you put your phone on silent. Thought I did. Put it either which way. We have a lot to get into this week on today's show. A lot. I started off today. I wanted to start off today with. I want to go into Leon White. We had the passing of Big Van Vader, Leon White, this week. I'm not gonna lie, that one hit me because he was 63, not old by any means. He had some health issues, but it hit me. I don't want to go into how sad it is to see another wrestler pass, especially someone who is doing well in life. But I want to ask you, man, Vader, to me, he was the original big man that wasn't a big man. He was the original non-7-foot big man powerhouse that dominated WCW, dominated WWE. I loved his work in WWE. To transition at the time that he transitioned from WCW to WWE, before there was the Monday Night Wars, was a big thing. So, Sage, I got to ask, give me some of your favorite Vader moments.
I got Goose. I think Goose been taking one too many shots to the head, bro.
Why? Uh-oh.
Damn, Goose. You forgot what we talked about last week, man?
But did we really go over this last week?
Yeah, we went over this last week, bro.
But we didn't go over our favorite moments, did we?
We did, man. We did.
Oh,
we did. I talked to let's see. Let me remember what you pinned down. I pinned down his somersaults and his WCW work, and you pinned down his WWE work, and then also the what was it? The smoke machine down the aisle and stuff like that. You don't remember that?
This was the official week that we actually gave the 10 bell salute.
That is true.
So I want to tell you about two things that I thought about this week with Vader. It's just a chime on it last week. I can't believe I completely forgot about that. I feel like it just happened. Maybe it's just because I haven't been so fresh on my mind. Wow. Error on my end. And funny enough, I normally have a couple beers while we do the podcast, and I think the past month I haven't at all. Just not because I don't want to. I just haven't had time to go pick up a 6-pack or go pick up beer or have beer at the house or anything. But there was a moment, I don't know if you remember this. I loved Vader's feud with Shawn Michaels. I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
Especially when Shawn had the post-concussion syndrome thing going on.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where Vader kind of, towards the end of his career, kind of became a jobber. He was actually, I believe, the first or second feud for the debuting Kane in 97.
Yeah.
And Vader bladed, but he took a wrench, not a chair shot. He took a wrench shot.
Yeah, he did.
And I remember Kane went out to the ring, picked up a toolbox, and hit Vader over the head with the mask. And Vader came out, hit Vader over the head with the wrench. And Vader came out all bloody. And I was like, damn, that's 10 times worse than a chair shot. There's no way you could convince me, all right, Goose, you're going to have to take a chair shot. I heard these things hurt. These are real chairs, but it's your initiation. This is what wrestlers in the 90s do. All right. And then Vince McMahon comes, oh, you son of a bitch. No, we got to make this look worse. Oh, we got to give this. You got to get hit with a wrench. Vince, come on now, man. No, my name. Hey, come on. Come on. I'm not going to be hit with no freaking wrench. No, you go out there and you sell it, you son of a bitch. You go out there and you sell it. All right, well, kiss my ass, Vince. You're gonna fail one day at fake football or XFL. That's in the future talk because I'm from the future. That's one of my favorite moments of Vader. I feel like we didn't get to chime in too much on it, but we had a lot of stuff go on. A lot of stuff go on this week.
Yeah, man.
Where should we get started?
Inside or outside the ring?
Let's go with outside because I feel like inside the ring's pretty easy to remember, easy to get to. I want to go outside the ring, but I'm gonna let you start it because you text me this week about something that I could tell you felt strongly about.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So the first thing that I really wanted to talk about is ESPN has a how would I say, like
It's a body issue.
yeah, body issue. So it's
Showcase
essentially
that.
it's the swimsuit edition, but ESPN style, which is a little bit more.
Well, they show men too.
Yeah,
So
they
I
do.
think it's to showcase the art and the beauty that is the athletic body.
Yep.
Which
Which
yeah, very
I'm
swimsuit issue. Yeah,
totally
very
cool with, man. I'm like, art is like my thing. I love art, man. So Charlotte Flair was actually one of the ones who were selected to do this expose or this photo shoot for Body, and got posted online as soon as it aired, and the photos were, pretty. How do I say? They're
body issue photos.
They're body issue photos, so semi-naked photos, in different positions and different wrestling positions, and obfuscated by the ring rope, the turnbuckle, and in her hand and things of that nature.
She was actually on the main page. We do this podcast on Thursdays. She was actually on the main page of ESPN today, promoting her body issue, the body issue.
That's pretty cool. First off, congratulations to Charlotte for being selected. I mean, it's a huge honor. I was going through some of the comments on the, when she posted those photos, and I should have known better. It's really, really toxic, man. But, there's probably 2 or 3 points that I kind of wanted to make on it, man. Again, I think that these kind of things for me, when male or female, it doesn't matter. It's not a double standard in my book when it comes to, these types of photo shoots. But, there were, a lot of people that were supporting her decision, to do that. And I'm also in the camp that, whatever a woman wants to do with her body, whether she wants to show it or not, is up to her. But then you have, people that are detractors, that say that, maybe it's a little bit overboard doing some of that kind of stuff. And then you've got the horn dogs, which are, I try not to pay too much attention to that.
Yeah, they're always out there.
Yeah, they're always out there. So my question to you on that is, how do you feel about it? And two, a lot of those shots were done with the WWE belt, which we've had previous conversations about that kind of thing. Is it okay? Like, why is it okay for her to do that, not for like other superstars to do it without other superstars to do it, period?
Love that question. Stuff that was leaked online, it was in sexual acts involving the belt in a sexual manner, purely sexual manner. I gave my opinions and my thoughts on that in previous episodes. You can go back and listen. It was something that it caused a level of, since it got leaked to the public, it was degrading to the title. I think what ESPN does, and they have done for several years, is the point of what they're doing is, like you mentioned, Sage, it's art. It's an artistic fashion and they had the approval, of course, from the WWE to have the title on there. And it's to truly showcase the beauty that is an athlete's body. And it's an athlete's body in their profession. So we look at David Ortiz, who was in the Body Issue a couple years back, Big Papi. He's just a flat out massive big dude. But it works in baseball. So with, I don't agree. I didn't like the shaming and the trolls that were out there and all that good stuff, but I really liked the photo shoot and I liked the Body Issue because especially Charlotte's, because it puts you in her environment. I think she was on a turnbuckle. She was in a ring. But it's artsy. It's something that could be displayed on any front page anywhere at any time, such as ESPN's front page. But it's not pornographic. It's not something... ESPN.com is accessible at any age. It's a Disney product. It's accessible. Oh, I was about to say, speaking of Disney products, I got to tell you about Jurassic World, but I don't think that's a Disney movie. Ugh. I'm not going to go off on that movie. But I think it's artistic, and I think it showcases the muscle, the trim, all the hard work and effort that goes into having an athlete's body look like an athlete's body, and it showcases it in the genre that they're in, whether it's baseball, football, or basketball, or wrestling.
I agree. Two other questions I kind of want to also, relating to this is, do you think that there should have been some type of disclaimer, especially like on Instagram before posting these, or maybe like we posted them, a couple of them on our Instagram, some of the less risky photos in there, but we also put a warning buffer image in there as well. Seeing as though that a lot of kids subscribe to or have Instagrams and are subscribed to her Instagram, do you think that she should have had some type of buffer image before posting those?
Yes. I'm only saying that because I know what's on my mind as a 12-year-old kid. I'm not saying she's wrong for not doing it, but I think if it was done, because with Instagram, Twitter, you could post multiple pictures, but if she would have maybe put and I'm not saying anybody's wrong for this, but maybe if there was a NSFW caption up there or a FYI or something, I think it would have been great, just because there are young kids going to look at that stuff. So an NSFW, and then there's so many different types of tags and all that stuff you could put in there. Or I thought we did it great with hey, just FYI, if you're scrolling through these pictures, you're going to see some extra skin. No nudity, but extra skin.
Yep. I agree. And I don't know if Instagram has the option to tag photos that are objectable like that.
Not yet.
Not yet. So I do think that it would be a good idea for them to do that going forward. I don't even know what the terms and conditions of the...
Well, Instagram blocks nudity 100%. So like if you're a adult cam or adult star or cam star or anything like that, you can't post nudity on Instagram.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's not hard to block nudity because of software algorithms these days. It's not hard to block nudity at all.
They focus on the nude on the nipples, but there's definitely ways of getting around that. I've been fortunately
prove it tonight.
No, I mean, no, I'm not gonna. The missus would be really upset. I'm giving away the goods for free, bruh.
Well, just say it's mine. Like, you know what?
Maybe I'll create a Camster account or something like that, man.
You need to go on our Instagram tonight and put up a D-pic. And then when your wife gets mad, be like, man, I don't know why Ben Goosen
money, baby.
I don't know why Ben Goosen's stupid. I need to tell him, because we're both mixed black white dudes. I have a little bit of Indian, you got German. Just be like, man, Ben Goosen does stupid stuff. Then when I get in trouble, I'll be like, man, Sage just stupid stuff. I don't know why he puts pictures of himself out like that.
Man, I had to unsubscribe to one of our viewers because he was putting, I'm assuming that it was a he, was putting some pretty nasty photos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
leave that stuff at home. If we're
Yeah.
following you, you're following us. Leave the racist, sexual. Leave that at home. There's
yeah.
plenty of places to post that. But let's move on. I want to tell you about something I listened to today that's outside the ring.
Well, before we do, man, just the last one, man, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted to bring this up, man. So with WWE being okay with Charlotte posting semi-nude photographs, and posting it all over Instagram and Twitter and all that other social media stuff, does this pave the way for China to be in the WWE Hall of Fame in the next year or two? Because their whole objective, I mean, not objective, but their whole gripe seemed to be around the fact that she was a superstar who posed nude did porn. But I mean, it's not very much of a difference between the two. But I mean, one's art, I get, but one could argue that porn is also art too. But does it pave the way for her to, does it make it more swallowable, if that's a word, more tolerable?
The absolute worst word you could have used.
Phrasing.
That is the worst. That's like that was a that was the worst word you could ever use to be. That'd be like me coming to you and being like, do you think it makes it more penetrable for her to no, wait. No, I see what you're saying. No, it doesn't change anything because the ESPN body, remember, ESPN's owned by Disney, so it's a family product and it's artsy and there's no actual nudity shown. I think we've talked about this, and this is a hot topic. If you follow us on Twitter, this is what we're getting at about China being in the Hall of Fame. We've talked about it before. Does she deserve it? Sure. Will it happen? Sage would love to see it. Sage has gone on record in the past as saying, yeah, she'll be in, no doubt. But the issue still remains, as Triple H said on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. If you Google China, those of y'all who are listening, if you have kids and you Google China, what comes up? But the same argument could be said about Sonny, Tammy Lynn Sitch. You Google her. You Google her now.
For that smile upon your face, Sonny.
So, I'm going to just say no. Because of Charlotte being in that, I think it paves the way for other athletic women in the WWE, or a Seth Rollins, or a Finn Balor. I think it paves the way more so for other WWE superstars to be showcased on ESPN in the Body Issue than it does for China being in the Hall of Fame. China deserves it, but I don't think it'll happen anytime soon.
Bold prediction, China will be in the Hall of Fame in the next 2 years.
China will be in. So that's tough because we have the Me Too movement going on. There's a lot of strong things going on about women these days, women empowerment. I say China does not make it in the Hall of Fame in the next 2 years. Deserves it, sure, but does not make it. Man, I'm starting to get a gap in my teeth. But does not make it in the Hall of Fame in the next 2 years, unfortunately.
Well, dudes, there you got it. We'll see. Well, next couple of years, WrestleMania season's right around the corner. Not really.
So I want to talk to you about something here.
Yeah.
I listened to the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. Great show. Go check it out.
Is that on the network?
No. The Unleashed actual podcast. You know who his guest was this week?
Paul Heyman?
No, it was Enzo Amore.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Damn, that's twice. And I'm not, for those of you listening, I'm trying to not pick up my phone because people be texting me the whole day, and I thought I took it off vibrate. People texting me some bullshit. about goth dances. So
About
Enzo
that rate
Amore,
life.
yeah, about cyberpunk. So Enzo Amore was on the Steve Austin podcast. He cleared the air, and I'll just kind of recap it for you. Just give it a real easy. This is what they talked about in a nutshell type thing. So Enzo cleared the air on what happened, and he said that the way it worked, and he was justified. He wasn't salty or anything like that, but he was at Raw 25 when it all happened. He actually was booked that day to have segments that were longer than any other segments on Raw that day. So he said he took it as a compliment. Segments on Raw 25. And his storyline that day was he was going to play cards with the APA. And if you remember Raw 25, it was the APA, Ted DiBiase, a bunch of legends and stuff. And he was going to get in debt in the poker game and bet his cruiserweight title. He was going to lose his cruiserweight title in a match, or excuse me, in a poker game, the APA poker game, to Ted DiBiase, go out for a match, which he ended up doing, lose the match, get put through a table, all that stuff by the Dudleys, come back to the back, be all beat up, and Nia Jax, because if you remember back then, they had a thing going together. Nia Jax won his belt back at poker, so he left the night with the Cruiserweight Championship.
Nice.
He said in that day, again, you can go listen to the podcast, I'm just recapping it. In that day, he was walking around, and if you watch Total Divas, you'll know who Mark Carrano is. Mentioned to him, hey, stuff can't be going on. We couldn't find you. Where have you been the whole time? And he said, I've been in a private room, in a laundry room by myself. I heard of some crazy stuff on social media about some girl accusing me of this. So I called my lawyer. So the reason you couldn't get in touch with me is because I was on the phone with my lawyer, which is really, really important. I can't back out of that. Enzo met with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon said, hey, look, you're getting pulled from today. And I'm just kind of paraphrasing what Enzo said. He said, hey, you're getting pulled from today. Look, it's a bad look. You're doing this, the Me Too movement, the women's revolution, in general, what you did is just a bad look. We got to pull you. Go tomorrow night to SmackDown for 205 Live. Got a call the next day from Mark Carrano, and he said, hey, look, based off what happened, you didn't tell us about it. Like, you're gone. And then, the rest is history. So Enzo's point was, hey, man, I didn't know any of this was going on. He said, because what we all believe he was let go for is not reporting it. And he said originally, before Raw 25, a couple months prior in December, he got an email or a text from a friend that said, hey, the Arizona police are investigating a wrestler for this, apparently with this girl. And he talked to his lawyer and took it with a grain of salt and said, a wrestler, that doesn't mean I'm good. I went to a concert, I'm good. I have nothing to worry about. Plus, it said a wrestler. They didn't say me. So if anything comes up, he ignored it, and nothing came up for months. And then on the night of Raw 25, the young lady brought it up, and he was mad about it, and he told Vince, hey, look, yeah, I knew about it beforehand, but it was blown off. My lawyer called the police, and my lawyer asked police, is there an investigation going on? And the police said, no. So we dropped it. We didn't worry about anything afterwards. So once it happened, Enzo told Vince, I'm a man of my word. I did nothing. And that, that was ultimately the end of that. So he said he didn't leave on bad terms with anybody or anything like that. It was just one of those complete one-offs, the worst timing possible. And Steve Austin asked him, where are you going to be in 10 years? And he said, probably working for the WWE, with the way things just happen to naturally turn out. But you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sticky situation to be in, man. I mean, with the WWE, with the superstars being so public and so visible, week to week, at what point do you ever tell your employer that, hey, Because I mean, let's be realistic. If he had an office job, there would be no expectation for him to tell his employer that something like that was going down, right?
Correct.
With the WWE, I mean, that's a little bit. I would think that it's a little bit different. If his, I don't know, man. Because I mean, if his attorney called and to verify, and the police department didn't say anything, I mean, would they even want to tell them anything? Even if something was going on, would they actually? I wouldn't think that they would actually go and tell them. Like, I would think that they would reserve that for when they're ready to come and make an arrest, like a formal complaint or something like that.
And if you go back and listen to the show, that was his exact stances. Yeah, if somebody's complaining, then if you're not if nothing's happened, if I'm not under arrest, then nothing's happening. And the police told him the same thing for the most part, like, hey, we got to look into this. So once they found out, per Enzo's words, he said, once they found out that I was a wrestler, the police started investigating and they wanted to make a big deal. And I called him and my lawyer called him and they wouldn't return our calls. So we just figured his lawyer sent him a nasty letter and said, hey, if you don't return our calls and talk to us about this investigation, we're going public. And we're going to talk about how your PD is blaming us for this with no evidence. We know this, know that. And we're going to put your PD on blast.
To kind of force the issue.
Yep. And then not much longer, the case was dropped. So that was my crazy experience outside of the ring this week, per se. What else? Is there anything else before we get into kind of a recap of this week outside the ring? I feel like it was a busy week outside the ring.
I'll save that for after. Let's get inside the ring, man. We're kind of in the weeds there, man. So how'd you feel about Raw?
Raw was good. I did get a chance to watch Raw and all but the ending of SmackDown. So for the big takeaway that I had from Raw this week, the first match of the night, I like that they threw the teaser out there that Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar may have something going on. But the Revival won a match. They're probably going to get buried next week, but the Revival won a match. That's what I loved.
No, I absolutely agree, man. And I honestly, I don't think that they'll lose another match. I don't think so. I think that this is going to be their slow build up to actually being top guys again. But yes, I'm totally with you, man. I definitely enjoyed the Bobby Lashley promo. I liked, even though the crowd didn't seem to be too engaged in it, but I liked the breaking kayfabe.
The whole promo, yeah,
promo. Like, it, to me, it resonated. I thought it was great. Kind of sets it up for Bobby to become a heel if they decide to pull the trigger that way, which I hope that they do. Good stuff.
You know who we also saw that, I believe last week, was it? I asked, where are they? We had an Authors of Pain sighting.
It wasn't on Hulu.
Oh, well, I mean, they just beat some jobbers, but the Authors of Pain came out, had a match, and they had a backstage segment with Titus and Apollo. So I think that's going to be a little mini feud going on. It was great to see the Authors. I love the Authors of Pain. It was great to see them on TV.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in that division, in that tag division.
For how stacked it is, how do you not, on a 3-hour show, for how stacked tag team wrestling is today? There's no excuse for not showcasing tag team wrestling on TV. And think about it,
especially on a 3-hour show.
Exactly. Sage, think about it. They're showcasing tag team wrestling with the opening match of the night, Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. 2 randos teaming up? You have a wealth of tag team talent. And I would beg to say the B team versus Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy isn't showcasing tag team talent. Those are the tag champs are 2 guys that were thrown together that are doing great, by the way. Like, I mean, they're awesome and all that. But you have so much tag team talent, but you're not utilizing it, and you have the time for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man. And hey, what's you know what? Something that just kind of flew under the radar during our reaction show um, for Money in the Bank. The B team was supposed to have a title match, and they didn't have a title match at all, and they still haven't had a title match at all.
It's going to happen at Extreme Rules. They announced this week.
Why would they? Do you think this is a product of the whole bringing the not having enough time and bringing the two brands together? Is this going to be something that we're going to see where there's always going to be a card subject to change?
Yeah, I think so. Naturally, I mean, it's going to happen to give time to other things or in case of injuries, but
so what's the point of
at least
having them
high
together,
stakes.
man? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, at least it's not as high stakes as other matches. It sucks, but
Yeah, I'm not a fan, man. This is the first. I did like the matches that were on Money in the Bank. I don't like the fact that something was advertised, a major title was advertised and did not show up at all. Not a fan of that. And if that continues, I don't know, man. I might be done.
yeah, it kind of it. I know if I went there and bought tickets, like we were talking about Hell in the Cell earlier, I would have been pretty. I'd be pretty bummed out, especially if it's not on the pre-show. Like with how much talking goes on during the pre-show, they could easily kind of throw it in there, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Something's got to give, man. They only actually had, I think they only had one match on the pre-show, which is terrible. But
yeah, they did.
The Bryan and KO thing, man. I'm digging that, man. I'm digging. I love it. I love the storyline, man.
I'm really curious to see where this goes because it could be I think it will end up in a Braun and KO feud, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get more tag team matches with them too, and that shenanigans still at the end where Braun he's cooperating with him just to lure him in a little bit more and trying to get his hands on him, and like Tom and Jerry, it's cat versus mouse or cat chasing mouse kind of thing, man. I like that.
Yeah, because Kevin Owens is kind of like a pseudo face anyways, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love where they're going with that. I think that's awesome. Like, it's something that could lead to a feud, but Kevin Owens is such a heel. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he's such a heel. Like, maybe he gets the pop from some people because he's a cool, good wrestler and all that, but he's such like he's a piece of shit.
In a good way.
He's in a total good way. The character, he's such like a shady guy. Like even Sami Zayn and him are perfect because they're one and the same now that Sami Zayn's heel. Like Kevin Owens will he'll come to me and you and say, "Hey, I love your podcast. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. I want to be on your show every single week." And then next week say like, "Oh no, their podcast isn't that good." I mean, come on now.
Damn you, KO.
Yeah, it's everything.
Thanks for the surge in the followers, though.
So, did they cut No Way Jose versus Mojo Rawley from the Hulu cut?
Yeah, he did, man. Yeah,
all right, moving on. Let me tell you something that kind of bothered me this week. So, Hell in a Cell, we mentioned in San Antonio. We're probably going to, or we will be, there the IRWP spirit will be in full effect. Oh, so I got the email from WWE. Said, all right, great. And it said, come watch Hell in a Cell. And it's the email. I'm not going to say it, but it said, come watch this wrestler versus this wrestler. And I wanted to talk to you about that because a card is subject to change. I get it. But it very blatant, especially since we have Extreme Rules and we have SummerSlam before then. It was a hard spoiler. If what was in the email to me from WWE with the pre-sale code has anything to do with what the actual main event is, or well, I mean, I don't know what the main event will be. I mean, because there's a Hell in a Cell match. Who knows? It's a spoiler.
Yeah,
I think it's a spoiler. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have a sneaking suspicion that I do. It either involves Undertaker or involves Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's worse than that. It's
worse than that.
Yeah. I don't want to say it because this is I assume it's an email to WWE Network subscribers that are in San Antonio, so I can't spoil it for the fans. But I will say this. It is along the lines of, it would be the equivalent of saying, come see... And I'm completely going to make this up. I don't know, but we all think we know what's going to happen at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, all that stuff. It would be the equivalent of saying, "Come see insert Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley for the title."
Mm-hmm.
When Brock has the title.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that's what it was. That's not what it was in the email, but it was the equivalent of that. It was like.
So you're saying that one of the major titles is being advertised with another superstar? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that means we're going to have a title change for the Intercontinental or the Intercontinental U.S. title, WWE Universal. I don't know because I'm just spitballing out there, but the email was very clear on come see this person versus this person for this title.
Yeah, I mean they did the same thing with Jinder Mahal. They advertised Jinder Mahal having the title in Saudi Arabia before he actually had the title, and I think that AJ had the title going into there if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm going to spoil it. This one's bad. So this one is AJ Styles in the main event.
Gotcha.
AJ Styles is your SmackDown championship, right? He's your SmackDown heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
No, he's not on this card.
Don't tell me it's Daniel Bryan or The Miz, man.
No, he's fighting Samoa Joe.
Come on, man.
So I got this email that said, "Come see AJ Styles battle against Samoa Joe for the WWE title," and I was like, "What the? You tell me you didn't just tell me there's going to be a cash in before then? You did not just." All right, AJ Styles is going to try to get his title back, but it could mean maybe Samoa Joe officially says, "I'm going to cash in at Hell in a Cell." I don't know, but when I saw it says
Samoa Joe doesn't have the title. I mean, he doesn't have a briefcase, man.
I don't know what that means. See, I didn't. It's funny is I instantly went into thinking, okay, well, Samoa Joe's going to cash in the Money in the Bank. But wait, Braun won. So what does that mean? So I couldn't tell if that meant Samoa Joe. Now, if they're basically telling us Samoa Joe's fighting for the title, we know Samoa Joe's going on a winning streak between now and September.
There you go.
So the case in point, I gave Money in the Bank because it's to the extreme, right? Yeah. Like I want to go to the extreme sport standpoint, but it just gave you okay, well, Samoa Joe's going to beat everybody. Oh, Rusev's not going to win. That was the text I got today was, hey, look at what the main event is that WWE emailed me. Rusev's not winning this weekend.
Well, we kind of knew he wasn't going to win, man. It's not really. a shocker. I think that we're just happy that he's actually getting a shot for the title itself, man. I just
Yeah,
and
it'll
I know
be
that
twice as
AJ is
shocking if he
nursing
wins.
some. Yeah, and I know that AJ's nursing some injuries, and that's kind of the reason why he hasn't been like wrestling for the last couple of weeks. He's only done the pay-per-views and whatnot. So I mean, it makes sense, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see who vies for the title against Joe if he does ultimately get the strap, because man, I'm starting to sound like 50 Cent, man.
Cop $1 million on
I know.
that quote right there. Don't say that, by the way. Oh, Sage, you might have just got us in real trouble.
I know, man. Oh man. Anyhow, yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how they do that, because which you know what, I didn't want to get into SmackDown yet, but I guess we might as well.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into
it. I've got this theory, man, about Daniel Bryan. So my thing is, if Daniel Bryan and The Miz have a feud, like they actually start mixing it up before Survivor Series, I don't think that Daniel Bryan is going to re-sign with the WWE. I think that that's going to be the litmus test. I think that if those two fight before SummerSlam, he's going to expire out his contract and go elsewhere. And the reason why I say this, man, is they have been so quick to put Daniel Bryan against top tier talent, whether in a winning or losing phase. But he's being matched up pretty well with everyone really, really quickly. And that makes me kind of nervous, man. That, to me, I'm thinking that they're trying to get the best out of him before he eventually leaves. So does that make sense?
So do you talk to me? Is his contract coming up?
His contract's coming up somewhere in September-ish. And he has not, from the reports, he's not renegotiated his contract at all, man. So my concern is that we know that The Miz versus Daniel Bryan is going to be the moneymaker. Like, we know that. If the WWE they're basically going to force their hand, because it's either they strike now, or the chance of them ever having that opportunity might not exist ever again. So,
I agree. So then let me ask you this. If Daniel Bryan's contract is coming up and they got to make their money, obviously the big money feud is The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Let me ask you this. If we're banking on people leaving and them getting into big feuds now, is Shinsuke Nakamura leaving WWE next year?
I think that too, man. Like, there was no better time to put the strap on. Oh, God damn it. There was no better time to put the belt on Shinsuke than that last match. And they didn't do it. So I know that there's been some rumblings in terms of, like, his mannerisms seem as though, and I know this is just speculation, but his mannerism seems as though he doesn't really want to be there. I mean,
I've
not
heard
being
reports.
disrespectful. Yeah,
I've heard on other podcasts people saying he's not as happy in the WWE.
Yeah. So I know that his contract comes up like January or February-ish. So maybe that's the reason why they didn't put the belt on him. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Or it could just be the WWE doesn't feel comfortable putting the belts on Japanese superstars, which I'm in that
camp. Go back and listen to the past 75 episodes we've had to hear our thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. So if Shinsuke, I mean, we could see that, man. We could see DB going, and we could see Shinsuke going, all in the span of 6 months. And I mean, and NJWP would reap the benefits. ROH would reap the benefits, like, in a heartbeat, because they could work both promotions and at the same time, simultaneously, and they would probably be happier.
If Shinsuke Nakamura and Daniel Bryan leave the WWE, does CM Punk sign with a non-WWE independent wrestling company?
I mean, he's gone on the record saying that he's done with wrestling, period. But we all know money can change people. CM Punk seems to be a man of his word on whenever he says something. I mean, his track record speaks for itself. But
A wife will change. You could be a man of your word until a woman gets involved. Until that paycheck's not coming in. I'm not dissing AJ Lee, CM Punk, but they have
she's
a
making
long.
money too, man.
Both of them are, but you have to remember these guys. They're both young.
Yeah.
She's in her 30s, I guess. I don't know. He's young, late 30s, early 40s. You still got 30, 40, 50 years left to live. So these paychecks are nice. And I'm sure they're frugal and do all that good stuff, invested, whatever they do. But if CM Punk could do an indie show with his buddy Colt Cabana and the Bullet Club, and then have autonomy on his character and bring his wife, we're talking millions they'd make.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is, man, the negotiation for what they do is going to probably be high. So they may not even like the longevity of them actually being at one company is probably on the low end, man. I would
Is CM
bet
Punk
that
irrelevant right now in wrestling?
I mean, I guess it depends on who you are, right? The casual fan doesn't really care so much.
What do you think? Is CM Punk, if you heard Cult of Personality play in any stadium, you'd mark out for that minute. But does the wrestling world need CM Punk right now?
No.
Like,
I don't even think it's I think the wrestling world could benefit from CM Punk, but CM Punk doesn't need the wrestling world at all.
And the wrestling world doesn't need him. Like, it'd be great if he came back, but it'd be good for.
I mean, and it's a shift in wrestling, period. Like, it's not just CM Punk, man. Like, a lot of these people don't need the WWE anymore at all.
No, not at all. CM Punk left wrestling. Oh man, it's such a tough time because he's one of those people who came up on the grind, and Daniel Bryan too. They came up on the grind where you had to basically be homeless. You had to travel the indie circuit. You had to do this. You had to do that to make it to the WWE. There was no YouTube. You had to send tapes around, all that good stuff. They left at such a tough time. And now NJPW, ROH, CZW, like there's so much money to be made outside of the WWE.
Yes.
So they just came in and out of the business at such a rough time. And
like the landscape's completely changed, man. I mean, 100%. All they gotta do is just wrestle one event, open up a pro wrestling tees thing, and they'd be set for like the next 3-4 years.
Think about it. So if you're a big indie wrestler these days, you can social media market and brand yourself and make a killing, make 100, 200, 300 grand easily. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, but you didn't have that opportunity in the past. Like, you could make so much money on pro wrestling tees, all various merch. I'll use Joey Ryan as an example. He can sell merch, and then he could make his own videos, put them on YouTube, make his own money on YouTube. Through social media, Snap, Instagram, everything. Once you hit 1 million followers, you gotta market that. Yep. And you can and make a good living. So there's just so many alternative ways to make money. And I think wrestling is at an all-time high. We could talk ratings and say they're low, this, that. But the wrestling industry is at an all-time high. If Daniel Bryan, talk to me about this. If Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura, let's exclude CM Punk, leave WWE, and they are both in NJPW and ROH by January, February, March, do we have a competitor direct, size-wise, to the WWE? And let's exclude like the whole $1 billion deal that WWE just signed, TV rights and all that. But will we have a very close direct second?
No. I mean, not being apples to apples, like that. I will say that I think that WWE is imploding. Um, in terms of like their stock, not their financial stock, not shares and stocks, but in terms of interest. And I think that they recognize that, and I think that's the reason why they're diversifying their brand so much. Like they're, in my opinion, I think that they see that more and more people are shifting towards the indies and the indies wrestlers and things of that nature. So what have they done? They've created NXT. Um, and then they see that, hey, the market for the European wrestlers, is going really, really high. So now they've decided to make NXT UK, and it's, to me, they're trying to diversify so that way they can kind of push the indie marks to an indie product and keep the cash cow for the casuals. And I think that that's the reason why we're getting such a shitty product on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, or in both NXTs, and the network specials are like heavily invested because of the fact that they're trying to make sure that they get you somehow, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
the UK, like the UK tournament, did you watch it today? Did you watch it yesterday? Did you watch it Sunday? Did you watch it Monday?
I have not. I'm actually going to first off, I'm a little upset that it wasn't marketed in any form or fashion on SmackDown or Raw on the Hulu cuts. So the only reason why I even knew about it is because I saw a couple of texts on Twitter in terms of some spoilers and stuff. So, and that's a whole separate conversation. But I will be just, a little side note, I am going to go ahead and watch it as soon as we're done with this podcast. And I will definitely do some reviews for our Patreon. So if you guys are into that, well, get early access, y'all go and check our Patreon. But yeah, I mean, but that's beside, I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Like, they didn't market that because they're banking on the diehards, the diehard marks, to know that it's already going on, and for them, push them away from the product or away from the main product onto those particular platforms so that they can focus the attention on the cash cows, the mules, the ones who really aren't passionate, who are passionate about giving money for shirts, but not passionate about the quality of the product.
Yeah, I completely. We're in a great spot as wrestling fans right now. We're just in a there's so much, like with the digital era with YouTube. We're in a great spot to be wrestling fans right now. Before we move on, did you have anything else? That you wanted to get into on SmackDown? I kind of like the opening segment, Miz and the Bludgeon Brothers. Miz playing the cowardly heel. Team Hell No reuniting.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of. I think you said this last week, if I remember right. That, and correct me if I'm wrong. Apparently, I don't remember last week's show at all. But I think you mentioned that this was just a temporary feud to get Daniel Bryan to the next step, which would be the Miz or whatever the next step would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's my theory. That they're putting Daniel Bryan into these mini feuds so that they can kind of expand out the Miz versus Daniel Bryan. Every feud that he gets into, the Miz is slowly inserting himself into Daniel Bryan's match, and then it's going to get to the point where they're implode. And that's, I mean, it's my theory. I still hold that theory, but I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little worried because Kane coming back, that threw me a little bit off. And I still, I feel like that's kind of a prelude to Daniel Bryan getting mixed up into all these matches, so that way the WWE can get the most out of him before he eventually decides to leave the company.
Yeah, we'll certainly see how it goes. Anything else outside of the ring, inside the ring, you wanted to chat about? This week?
Just two quick things, and I won't go into two. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Brother Nero, man. Like,
Oh yeah, Dog Bite Mania.
yeah. That's kind of it's. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of weird. Him without Matt. That's just kind of weird to me. And then the Sasha Banks. I know we didn't finish up on the Raw, but Sasha Banks and Bailey seems to start. It seems like it's starting to formulate. Don't think this is going to culminate and finish at the next pay-per-view Extreme Rules. I think it's going to end up in a no contest. They're building to, and I have no dirt sheets and nothing like that, but they're building to another Iron Woman match.
Yeah, for sure. I think that what they have going on is great. I like this week that Bailey saying, I think she said something along the lines of, "You made me do this to you." It seems like such a long story, but lately in wrestling, especially after watching the Gargano and Ciampa feud, I've been paying more attention to the true. Okay, what's the story? How long is this going to last? Is this like a 2-week story, a 3-week story? But with Sasha and Bailey, it's been like hey, we're like sisters. Look, today we're not going to get along, but next week we're going to tag together, win a match, and we're cool. Like, it's done. Well, now we're not like sisters. We're more like friends. We've downgraded to friends. And now it's a complete, man, I can't stand you. We got to solve this in a match. So I kind of like how the story's taken a while to kind of play itself out, because them two can hold themselves and be relevant no matter what. So I kind of like that it's played out this long, because when they finally fight, and they're going to have multiple matches, you're going to feel the payoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. They need to keep them. I mean, they need to do the same thing with them that they're doing with DB. Have them in matches, not directly doing one-on-ones, but just opposing each other with like maybe tag teams, or one interferes in the other one's match or something like that, to kind of just keep it interesting and build up more fire and things of that nature. I'm always a fan of storylines that do not involve titles. I think that we need to have more of those, because there's more.
Yeah, absolutely. Real.
Yeah,
it's real.
Yeah, it's real. Exactly. I mean, that's what it makes it interesting for them to do that. But we'll see, man. I mean, I think that ultimately the payoff is going to be an Iron Woman match. I think that this will be a co-main event or main event at Brooklyn, which I'm all for, man. It's something that the main roster has not seen yet from the women. So if it's anything like the first two matches that they put on in NXT, this one's going to be amazing. They just need to let the cuffs off and let them do them.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think it's going to be a hell of a match, or a hell of a trilogy of matches, or whatever it turns out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I really didn't have much else. I mean, we chimed in on a lot of different stuff this week.
Yeah, man. Other than Leo Rush being the newest member of 205 Live, I've never seen the boy wrestle in NXT in my life, but apparently he made it to the main roster. So congratulations to you, Leo Rush. And also congratulations to Bianca Belair getting married. Both her and was it Montez Ford?
Yeah, from the Street Profits.
Street Profits. So congratulations to those two. Salud.
Yeah, wrestlers, looking out for wrestlers. Lot of stuff in and outside the ring this week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Next week we'll get into our. I was about to ask you something about Daniel Cormier, but we'll get into our UFC predictions next week. We have a UFC show coming up next weekend. Stipe versus Daniel Cormier. Pretty stacked card. Rashad Evans, Sugar Rashad, retired this week. Vitor Belfort is on the retirement. Lyoto Machida signed with Bellator. A lot of stuff moving on. So in the MMA world, we'll be talking MMA next week. What else, Sage? Anything else? Should we wrap this thing up?
I mean, that's pretty much it, man. We had a lot of great dialogue today, man. So that's definitely a good thing. I know this is gonna be the third time I said that guy's but we got some wonderful content on Patreon for Patreon only. Y'all go check it out, patreon.com/IRWP. Y'all go check it out. Support your boys wherever you can, man.
Yeah, in any way, shape, or form, by far. Hit us up anytime. Sage told us very earlier, on the website, IRWP.us. Sage, do you want to drop our Twitter handle?
Yes, that Twitter handle can be located at Real WrestleCast. You can also find that on the website, www.irwp.us. Oh, you got email? You got email?
Oh, you got email?
So do we. We got email too, son. Hit us up. Book us. IRWPfeedback@gmail.com.
Easy come, easy go. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. We had a great show this week. This was a really busy week in wrestling. If you actually get down on the grind and think about it, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys. I'm your boy Ben Goose, and that's your boy Sage Amore. Keep it real.
Keep it real. Get the strap.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Ben Goose, and just coming at y'all to say the opinions and thoughts are that of the host, not of the IRWP. We appreciate you listening. Hey, at Real WrestleCast, we're not hard to find on Twitter. Communicate with us. Hit us up. It's not that hard to find. We respond to everything. Hit us up in the DM too if you can, because we hit you up and we respond every single chance we get. We love talking wrestling. We love talking sports. Kawhi Leonard, we talked about it earlier in the show. Where's he going? What's he going to do? Maybe we'll have an answer next week on next week's show. Again, IRWP.us and at Real WrestleCast. Keep it real, gangsters.